Oh my God. I can't even. That intro, I got to work on that. Again, I talked about it last time I went live and did a show, and it does crack me up because I think it does have those Nile Rodgers chic, freak out, the freak, say chic, those kinds of vibes for sure. But do I love it? If I'm questioning it, it means I don't. So I'm going to have to work on that. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to this episode, this live episode of Han Solo. I'm seeing less and less the point of me doing this. When it's Han Solo, why pre-record it? I'm just doing these live. And it goes squarely into the kind of fuck it category. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to all of you watching. We've got some people on YouTube. And we've got some people on, let's see, do we have anybody on Substack watching this? Let me go to my Substack page and see who's there. Yeah, live. And I got to make sure I mute. All right, there we are. Look at the shaved face, Jonathan Bergman says on Substack. All right, great. I'll be going back and forth between the two windows. Wow, Trudy, look at this. Thank you very much, Trudy Cooley, with your support on YouTube. Thank you very much for that, Trudy. And also a big thanks to our friend here, Walkel1970. George, you're great. I'm glad you're well. Oh, Bill Kelly. My God. Bill, thank you. You're a kind man. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Trudy. That means a lot. That's really sweet. And for those of you just listening, what I'm seeing are notifications of viewers giving a little, like throwing some tips in the jar, basically. I am essentially, you guys, as I do this, I am essentially a stripper on stage dancing around a pole, and you guys are just tossing money onto the stage. That's essentially the digital. That is exactly actually the digital version of what is happening here. So thank you. Oh, we got people from Houston, all of that stuff. And Jen likes the divider that is behind me. Thank you, Jen. I really need to work on my home backdrop set. It's not, I don't hate it. I don't love it. Again, I think it's a work in progress. The short response to your comment is thank you. It is the 23rd of February, Monday, here in New York City and pretty much, well, everywhere, right? And we had a blizzard. I'm looking out my window now, and as I speak here, it is just about 3 p.m. And the active snowing bit is done. The snowing part is done. Yeah, looking out my window, and I have right in front of me, I am looking out a window. My desk, my seat at my desk, my chair faces out a window, like very Carrie Bradshaw. And it's an old window, the kind of old windows that has the sort of chicken wire in the glass kind of security window. Not sure why. I live in an old hotel. Kalea, there's another contribution. Thank you so much. This is color me a lucky guy. But the snow has stopped, and now we contend with dealing with it, and the melt and the dirty snow and the dog shit in the snow because people are gross and they don't clean up after their dogs. That is a legit problem. But I was out today with Lenore. I'm going to go out again. Kids sledding. It was a little tricky this morning because the snow was still blizzarding a little bit, so it wasn't optimum. But it is right now. Let me give you a temperature. It is right now. Oh, I'm not getting one. It's about like 35 degrees, 34, 35 degrees. And it's a fresh blanket of at least a foot, maybe 18 inches of snow. And the kids, because they have the day off from school today, it's a snow day, are sledding their asses off in the park, as they should. So that's fun for them. There are going to be flurries. That's what we're getting at best, according to the crystal ball here on my screen. So that's Le Bliz, kids. That is the blizzard here in New York City. And I've got coffee, I've got food, I've got fresh filtered water. I love New York Tap and I filter it. I'm not a bottled water kind of a guy, except for my San Pellegrino, my one indulgence, and of course my Diet Cokes. I have a refrigerator full of what my friend Molly calls refrigerator cigarettes, i.e. cans of Diet Coke. So yeah, is my someone here on Substack is asking, is your niece still in the city? No, she went back. She was on the last flight that got out yesterday afternoon, the last Delta flight. She's from Cleveland. And she is back at home, and her flight was only 45 minutes delayed, which, considering the circumstances, I think that was pretty damn good. And LaGuardia, worst airports to be stuck in. LaGuardia, after its massive renovation, it's kind of fantastic. Great places to eat. It's comfortable. It's all the things. Bill Kelly asks on YouTube, what are your thoughts on Andrew and the situation in England? I've been following the British press, and it's an amazing story. All I know, Andrew, is what I've read in a cursory way on The Guardian. Apparently, oh, Andrew, I thought you were talking about the guy who was just arrested today. Sorry, Andrew. Gross. I saw a clip of an interview with someone that might have been from the BBC. It was a security guy, and he was saying that Andrew had a nickname among the security detail, and it was the "See you next Tuesday." And I'm using the polite form of that term. Not a well-liked guy. So, no, my sympathies are in the basement. I will say this, though. The UK is kicking the US's ass in terms of actions being taken. Legal action being taken. Arrests, I'd like to see some. It's interesting to me that the only person in prison for this is a woman. And there are some floating around conspiracy theories that they're seeing Ghislaine out and about getting pizza. Like, well, I'm not buying it. But if you can prove it, great. Anyway. So, yeah, I commend the UK for doing something. Let's see. Someone here says, why don't you take your podcast on tour? Oh my gosh. I mean, if the UK ambassador, that's right. And these guys in the UK who are getting arrested, it's because they have traded, allegedly, they traded secrets with Jeffrey Epstein. So we're talking about security breach. Like it's in the interest of national security kind of stuff. So yeah, arrest away. I'd like to see some of that happen here. Let's see. Someone says, why don't you take your podcast on tour? Please come to Houston. I would love to do a touring version of my podcast. I think I got a ways to go before I would generate enough of an audience. And by the way, thank you very much for the tip in the jar and your generosity. I'm showing that on screen. Another one who on YouTube who has throw some tips in the jar, has thrown rather some tips in the jar. So thank you very much for that. I would love to take my thing on the road, but we're not ready for that yet. I mean, if I knew that I could fill a space and all of that, and I had a producer and a distributor and a sponsor, sure. But I think we're a ways from that. So yeah, that's the blizzard. A little touch on Andrew in the UK. Come to Canada. I love Canada. I have such a crush on Canada. I have a crush on your PM, by the way. Mr. Carney. I did the shave earlier today on Substack. I loved it. I hadn't shaved in days. I think my last shave was last Thursday. And there is nothing like, and guys know this, there is nothing like a good shave when it's been a few days. It's a great feeling. Every Monday I start with a fresh blade. The blades I use are good for like a week. Anyway. There you have that. But somebody did ask, and I wanted to get some stuff, something out of the way that I've been meaning to get to, and I may write a post about it as well. And this is going to be, by the way, a huge endorsement. Somebody was asking what my skincare regime is. And it's hard to talk about that without talking what goes on the skin, like the products I use. And I kind of went all in on one product line because here's the why. I wanted to use something that was cruelty-free. Animal testing is a real problem for me. It's a bigger problem for the animals being tested upon. I'm not okay with it. And I kind of, as a consumer, draw the line with that. I'm not good with it. I'm not okay with animal testing. So what does that mean? It means I am willing to pay more than I would otherwise for a line of good skincare products, like quality products, good ingredients. They actually do the job, that do not also test on animals. It's cruelty free. Now, there are others, I did a Google search, and there are other product lines that do it. But anyway, the skincare line I use is called Mullen and Getz. And first of all, I wash my face with Dr. Bronner soaps. We all know Dr. Bronner soaps, the Castile soap. Great company, great product, great soaps that come in a bunch of different flavors. I use the classic, the peppermint. Love it. I've been using it. It's what I use on my face and my body. It's the only bottle other than shampoo in my shower. That's it. 2 bottles in my shower. Shampoo, which also happens to be a peppermint shampoo, but it's from Mullen and Getz, and Dr. Bronner's Castile soap. It's the best. It's so good. I've been using it for my skin, for my face and my body for 20 years, probably. The best. But after the skin is clean and I shave, what do I use? Well, during the day, I do a little bit of an eye gel. It's Mullen & Getz's Revitalizing Eye Gel. I can't believe I'm doing this and I'm not even being paid, but that's it. The Revitalizing Eye Gel. If you're watching this, whether on YouTube or on Substack, that's that. And for like right now, for example, I'm not going outside, at least not for a couple of hours. So I'm not worried about UV rays at the moment. But when I'm not dealing with UV rays, I do the rest of the face with the vitamin E face moisturizer. That's what that looks like. Good stuff. Not too. I have very shiny skin. My skin is really susceptible to shine, so I'm sensitive to that. So that's the daytime thing. And every day, winter, spring, summer, and fall, rain or shine, especially shine, I use their 30 SPF mineral sunscreen. Oh God, the light is kind of bleaching that out, but that's what it looks like. It's a 30 SPF mineral sunscreen. Blends really nicely into the skin because mineral sunscreens can tend to look like kabuki makeup when you put it on. But yeah, so always SPF, guys and girls, sunscreen during the day. I will just use this as the moisturizer. I'll skip that vitamin E thing. This will be my moisturizer, usually most days during the day. But when I get ready to go out at night or something like that, and I do a little refresh, I use that vitamin E moisturizer. And for the lips, the SPF 30 lip balm that goes with that. My lip care when I'm not in the sun is the Mullen & Getz lip moisturizer. They have a mojito lip balm that is really rich, but it leaves a stick of, like, it leaves your lip mark on the rim of your glassware. Like, I had to scrub the rims of my drinking glasses because the mojito lip balm will not wash off. So, it's the lip moisturizer for me, not the mojito lip balm. And that's great. At night, are you ready? Drum roll, please. At night, around the eye, I use the wonderful Revitalizing Eye Cream. Hi. Someone's asking, do I buy these online? I can, but because there is a Mullen & Getz on 72nd in Columbus, not far from me, I'll go into the store physically. It's a nice field trip. But if you don't have one near you, by all means, get it online. They have a website. So the eye cream at night is the Revitalizing Eye Cream. And then around the face, now this stuff is expensive and it's very concentrated, so I don't need to use a lot of it. It is, and I'm going to fuck up the pronunciation here, niacinamide Niacinamide restorative eye cream. Okay. Niacinamide restorative eye cream. This stuff. It's a glass jar. Hear that? It's glass. That's glass. That's the sound of glass. This stuff is super rich. You don't need a lot of it. A little goes a long way. It's expensive. So all of this stuff, I can't believe I pulled this out of my bathroom to show you a little show and tell here. All of this stuff all together, I'm not going to lie. It's not cheap. I spend more than one might spend on other brands at Walgreens or CVS or whatever. But because of the no animal testing thing, I'm willing to pay that extra. You know, that's okay with me. I only bring this up because I'd gotten a lot of questions because I do the live shaves. People were asking what I do on my skin, and that is the answer. A little mundane to some, but that's what I use. Let's see, and I'm looking at some comments here. Carol Grunky, George, love these chats. City girl here from New Hampshire, leaving for Cleveland tomorrow, AM for niece's wedding in the old Cuyahoga Courthouse. Oh, nice. I love Cleveland. You know, that's where I'm from. Jonathan Bergman said their leather scent. Oh, yeah. Their leather scent. Mullen & Getz also has great scented candles as well. And they probably have diffusers. I'm sure they do. So that's the Mullen & Getz skincare line of product. There are other products they have. I would go to their store and talk to someone and find out which ones are good for you. I did these after consulting with someone who worked there. And it seems to me there was something else that they had suggested. I stopped using it. I'm not into their cleansers. I don't get their scrubs. I like what I like, but other people might find value and a lot of use out of their other stuff. But what I can tell you, I'm not shilling for this brand. I swear to God, they haven't paid me a dime. I pay them a lot of dimes for buying these things, but they feel great on the skin. That's why I buy it. I mean, they're great products. They do the job. My skin looks good. It feels good. And they don't test on animals. So that, as they say, is that. And before I kick it, I wanted to talk about something that I was thinking about this morning as the snow was coming down. The blizzard was fully blizzarding out the window, and it was very beautiful. It really does look like a Norman Rockwell painting of New York. I mean, it's a winter wonderland outside, and it's beautiful as it's coming down. And I'm sitting in my apartment. I'm reading the news on my iPad, as I always do. I listened to NPR Up First, the podcast, and then I went to The Daily from the New York Times. That's my order of things. And then I'm reading my news as I do on the iPad, and I'm having my coffee, and the dog is with me, and there's heat in my apartment, and I have food for days in here. I just had this wonderful visit with my niece, and I might even get emotional when I talk about this. And it occurred to me as I'm sitting there thinking about all this, reading my news, having my coffee, loving the company of my faithful, loyal dog. And I have everything I need. You know, it's not complicated. I was so content. I am content right now in this moment today. I've got my health, as far as I know. I've got my health. I don't own a yacht. I don't have a second home. I'm a renter, but my bills are paid, and I've got music to listen to. I've got books to read. I've got movies and TV shows in the queue. Life is good. I've got, most importantly, my God, I have friends. I've got people in my life I care about. I've got family. I'm not a rich man, but I'm a rich man. And I was able to recognize this in the moment as it's happening. I wasn't always able to do that. I look back on certain parts of my life when things were, I mean, life is a roller coaster, and sometimes things are not great, and other parts of our lives are better than others. And we can all look back on points on our timeline and go, oh yeah, that was a really good time. Oh, I was really happy then, but I didn't recognize it at the time. It was a happy time in hindsight. But today, I am able to, and I don't think this is new-ish, I think, for me. Maybe it comes with age. Maybe it's after being sober for, what's it going to be this year? 24 years. I am able to look at my life right now today when things are fine. I'm not flying private. I'm not at a party. I am able to enjoy the fact that everything's fine and recognize the good things in my life while I'm in it, not looking at it from a distance or with the, 2020 hindsight. No. Right now, I know that things are good and I'm grateful for it and I appreciate it. I only wish that I were able to recognize that or see that as it was happening at other times in my life. I didn't know that things were as good as they were. My friend Scott Galloway always says, nothing is as good or as bad as it seems. And I like that sentiment. And that has been, I think, largely true in my experience. Life, nothing is as good or as bad as it seems. I don't think that's original to him, but he often reminds himself and his listeners about that sentiment. And I just happen to agree with it. And right now, I mean, nothing is amazing. That things are really, it's a shitty time in our country for a lot of people. And, people have lost, like there's the family of Renee Good. There is the family of Alex Preddy and others. This is a tricky time, a tragic time for a lot of people. But I'm okay. And I'm guessing if you're watching this or listening to this, there is at least something or some part of your life that is really okay. And I hope that you can get at least a little taste of understanding or appreciating that. I guess it's all about living in the moment. My dog does it. All of our dogs do it. What time is it, according to my dog? Right now. That's what time it is. They live in the moment. And this moment I'm in right now with heat, a microphone, you nice people, got some nice fresh water. I'm about to take a sip. Because I have a nice filter in my fridge. Yay. I'm going to have some coffee later. I love that. And after this podcast, when I wrap this up, I'm going to have a read and then work out because I have an exercise bike in the corner of my bedroom. Like, that's a gift. Life is good. So I hope that all, ideally, or at least some of you, can recognize that in your own lives. That, what a gift. What a gift. Appreciate things when things are good. Appreciate it as it's happening and know it. And know that it's going to change. Tomorrow, I could have a really bad day. This afternoon could get ugly. I don't know. But this particular moment is a good one. And I'm putting it in the bank. And thanks for that. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to get off my soapbox in today's episode of Han Solo, where, what did I talk about? The blizzard. I talked about my skincare regimen and did a giant product endorsement for no money because I'm an idiot. And I recognized, shared my ability to recognize happiness and contentment. I think contentment's a better word. It's less loaded than happiness. I'm content. I'm very content, actually. As I wrote on Substack not long ago, the gift of enough. The gift of enough. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to shut the fuck up. Thank you guys for tuning in, subscribing on YouTube, and for the contributions on YouTube. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you so much. Tap like. Please subscribe if you're on Substack. If you're not on Substack, join Substack because there's a lot of other good stuff there. And please consider, if you haven't already, becoming a paid subscriber because that's what really makes all of this possible and currently commercial free. I don't know about you, but I get really annoyed when I start up listening to a podcast I like and I just get bludgeoned with ads. And I just keep hitting the, fast forward button. Do you hear that knocking like the hammer? I love that sound. The sound of the heat going on, the banging of the pipe sound. I grew up in a house that had radiator heat. I love that sound. It's very comforting to me. Anyway, So yes, for to the subscribers, thank you. To those who are yet to become subscribers, please consider it. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.